In this moment, pause and take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax slightly. Allow the pace of your thoughts to slow without resistance. There is no task to complete here, no pressure to perform. This is a quiet space meant for grounding and calm. Rest does not begin when everything is finished. It begins when permission is given to stop carrying everything at once. As your breathing steadies, notice how the mind becomes less tense and more open. Many people move through their days carrying more than they realize. Responsibilities, expectations, unfinished thoughts, and quiet worries accumulate over time. This weight often goes unnoticed until the mind feels tired and the body feels tense. The verse begins with an invitation rather than a demand. It acknowledges effort and fatigue without judgment. It recognizes that weariness is a natural response to prolonged strain. This reflection is designed to be steady and supportive. There is no need to reach for emotion or intensity. Calm guidance is enough. Allow the words to move at a pace that feels comfortable. Each sentence is meant to support clarity, not urgency. Before continuing, take a moment to connect. In the comments, share the city and country you're listening from. Quiet moments like this reach many places, and that connection matters. If this reflection brings a sense of calm or reassurance, write Amen as a simple acknowledgement of agreement and trust. There is no expectation beyond presence. As you continue listening, allow this to be a guided pause. Nothing needs to be forced. Calm develops naturally when space is created for it. The verse speaks directly to those who labor and feel weighed down. Labor here does not refer only to physical effort. It includes mental strain, emotional responsibility, and constant problem-solving. Many forms of labor are invisible. They occur quietly in the mind, often without recognition. Over time, this can lead to exhaustion that rest alone does not fully resolve. The invitation to come is significant. It suggests movement, but not urgency. It implies approaching rest intentionally rather than waiting for circumstances to improve. This kind of rest is not passive. It is a conscious choice to step away from relentless effort, even briefly. Rest, as described here, is not simply sleep or inactivity. It is relief from carrying excessive mental and emotional weight. It is a shift in how responsibility is held. Instead of bearing everything alone, rest redistributes the load. This reduces strain and supports clarity. Weariness often narrows perspective. When tired, the mind focuses on what feels heavy and immediate. Rest widens perspective. It allows space for balance and reason to return. This does not remove challenges, but it changes how they are experienced. The verse acknowledges heaviness without minimizing it. It does not suggest that fatigue is imagined or unnecessary. It recognizes that prolonged effort naturally leads to strain. This validation matters. Feeling tired does not indicate failure. It indicates sustained effort. Rest is presented as a response to effort, not as a reward for finishing everything. This distinction is important. Waiting until all tasks are complete before resting can create a cycle of constant exhaustion. Choosing rest earlier supports long-term stability. Mental fatigue often comes from feeling responsible for outcomes beyond personal control. This can lead to tension and restlessness. Rest helps the mind recognize limits without frustration. It encourages focus on what can be influenced rather than what cannot. Rest also supports resilience. Without it, effort becomes unsustainable. With it, endurance improves. This kind of endurance is steady rather than forced. It allows continued movement without burnout. The invitation applies broadly. Anyone carrying strain qualifies. There are no prerequisites beyond weariness. This inclusivity reduces pressure. It removes the need to justify fatigue or explain struggle. Rest also reduces reactivity. When the mind is rested, responses become more measured, decisions feel less rushed, emotional balance improves. This supports healthier interactions and clearer thinking. Heaviness often accumulates gradually. Responsibilities add up quietly. Without intentional pauses, the mind rarely has time to reset. Rest interrupts this accumulation. It creates space to reassess priorities and redistribute energy. Choosing rest does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means engaging responsibility with steadiness instead of strain. This shift improves effectiveness and preserves mental health. The phrase, "I will give you rest," suggests provision rather than achievement. Rest is offered, not earned. This reframes how rest is approached. It becomes something received rather than something postponed. Receiving rest requires openness. It requires willingness to pause and let go of constant effort. This can feel unfamiliar, especially for those accustomed to staying busy. Yet this pause supports long-term clarity. Rest also improves focus. When fatigue decreases, attention sharpens. Tasks feel more manageable. Stress feels less overwhelming. This creates a more stable internal environment. The mind often resists rest by listing unfinished tasks. Stillness counters this by reminding the mind that constant activity is not required for value. Rest supports effectiveness rather than diminishing it. Over time, consistent rest builds resilience. It strengthens emotional regulation and reduces anxiety. It allows energy to be directed intentionally rather than reactively. This kind of rest is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It settles quietly, like steady breathing or relaxed posture. Its effects accumulate gradually. As this reflection continues, notice how your body responds. Subtle relaxation may appear, thoughts may slow. This is rest beginning to take effect. There is no need to force it. Rest also supports patience. When the mind is less strained, waiting becomes easier. Uncertainty feels less threatening. Perspective improves. The verse emphasizes approach rather than escape. Rest is not avoiding life. It is approaching life differently, with steadiness rather than urgency. Heaviness often includes self-imposed expectations. Rest helps release unnecessary pressure. It allows evaluation of what truly requires attention. As calm develops, priorities become clearer. Energy can be allocated more effectively. This reduces exhaustion and improves well-being. Rest is sustainable strength. It preserves clarity over time. It supports consistency rather than intensity. This steadiness benefits both mind and body. As you continue listening, allow this sense of rest to remain. Let it support your breathing and posture. There is no need to hurry. Rest can be returned to repeatedly. It is not limited to this moment. Brief pauses throughout the day reinforce stability. As this reflection moves toward its close, consider how rest can be integrated into daily rhythm. Small pauses, steady breathing, and reduced urgency make a difference. Carry this calm forward. Let it influence how you approach the next task. Effort does not need to be constant to be effective. Weariness does not define capacity. Rest restores balance. Clarity returns when strain is reduced. As you continue with your day or night, remember this invitation. Rest is available. Calm is accessible. You are not required to carry everything alone. Move forward steadily. Breathe naturally. Allow rest to support your thoughts and actions. You are grounded, supported, and capable of continuing with balance and peace. In this moment, pause and take a slow breath. Allow your body to settle naturally. Let the pace of your thoughts soften without effort. There is no urgency here. Nothing needs immediate resolution. This is a quiet space to step out of constant movement and return to steadiness. As your breathing becomes more even, notice how the mind begins to feel less crowded. Calm often starts this way, quietly and without force. Many people spend long periods operating in tension without realizing it. The mind stays alert, scanning for what needs attention next. Over time, this creates fatigue that feels deeper than physical tiredness. The verse begins with a simple statement: rest is found, not created, not chased, but found. This suggests that rest already exists and becomes accessible when attention is directed toward it. This reflection is meant to guide you gently toward that awareness. There is no need to search for a particular feeling. Calm does not require performance. It develops naturally when space is allowed. Let the words move at a steady pace. Each sentence is intended to support clarity and ease. Before continuing, take a moment to connect. In the comments, share the city and country you are listening from. Quiet moments like this extend across many places, and that connection matters. If this reflection brings reassurance, steadiness, or calm, write Amen as a simple acknowledgement of agreement and trust. As you continue listening, allow this to be a guided pause. Nothing needs to be forced. Calm grows when the mind is given permission to slow. The verse speaks of the soul finding rest. This suggests a deeper level of calm than physical relaxation. Soul-level rest refers to mental and emotional stability. It is the kind of rest that remains present even when life continues to move. This rest does not depend on perfect conditions. It depends on orientation, where attention is placed. Restlessness often comes from scattered focus. When attention is divided among worries, expectations, and unfinished thoughts, calm becomes difficult to access. This verse points attention toward a single source of steadiness. When focus narrows, the mind feels less strained. Finding rest is not the same as stopping activity. It is changing how activity is approached. Work, responsibility, and decision-making continue, but they are carried with more balance. This reduces emotional fatigue and supports clarity. The phrase, "Truly my soul finds rest," emphasizes sincerity and reliability. It suggests that this rest is consistent rather than temporary, not dependent on mood or circumstance. This consistency is what supports resilience. Rest also affects perception. When the mind is rested, challenges feel less overwhelming. Problems appear more manageable. This does not remove difficulty, but it changes the internal response to it. Salvation, as referenced in the verse, points to security and stability. It reinforces the idea that support is not fragile. Stability does not need to be rebuilt each day from scratch. It is sustained through consistent awareness. Mental strain often comes from carrying responsibility alone. This verse counters that pattern by emphasizing support beyond personal effort. Recognizing this reduces pressure. It allows the mind to release unnecessary tension. Rest improves patience. When calm is present, waiting becomes easier. Uncertainty feels less threatening. The mind becomes more flexible and less reactive. Many people confuse rest with inactivity. In reality, rest enhances effectiveness. It preserves energy and sharpens focus. Decisions made from a rested state tend to be clearer and more balanced. Rest also reduces emotional reactivity. When the mind is calm, responses become more thoughtful. This supports healthier communication and steadier relationships. The verse highlights direction. Rest is found by orienting attention correctly. This does not require complex steps. It begins with slowing down and noticing where focus is placed. As this reflection continues, notice your breathing. Notice the quiet that is possible even in a busy environment. Calm does not require silence around you. It requires steadiness within you. Over time, practicing rest builds resilience. The mind learns that constant urgency is not required. Stress loses intensity. Balance becomes familiar. Rest also improves clarity. When mental noise decreases, understanding becomes easier to recognize. This supports wiser choices and reduces regret. The statement, "My salvation comes from Him," reinforces trust. It suggests reliability rather than uncertainty. This reduces the mental load of needing to control every outcome. Trust does not eliminate effort. It refines it. Effort guided by calm is more sustainable than effort driven by pressure. As calm deepens, awareness widens. Perspective improves. Small challenges feel less significant. Larger challenges feel more manageable. This rest is not dramatic. It settles quietly. Its effects accumulate gradually. This is how long-term stability is built. As you continue listening, allow this steadiness to remain. Let it support your posture and breathing. There is no need to hurry. Rest can be revisited throughout the day. Brief pauses reinforce balance. Over time, these moments reshape how stress is experienced. As this reflection moves toward its close, consider how rest can be integrated into daily rhythm. Small pauses, steady breathing, and reduced urgency create meaningful change. Carry this calm forward. Let it influence how you approach the next task or decision. Effort does not need to feel heavy. Rest does not reduce capacity. It restores it. Clarity returns when strain decreases. As you continue with your day or night, remember this truth. Rest is accessible. Calm is present. You are not required to carry everything alone. Move forward steadily. Breathe naturally. Allow rest to support your thoughts and actions. You are grounded, supported, and capable of continuing with balance and peace.